$20 million, $19 million, $6 million. These are all awards recovered for clients of Phillips Law Firm. To win big, you have to fight big. And Phillips Law has been fighting the too big to fail insurance industry for decades. Not every case will have a multi-million-dollar outcome, but Phillips Law will fight just as hard to recover the outcome you deserve. If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident or on the job, call or click today at 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
Spend less time in the laundry room and more time doing the things you love. Introducing the Samsung Smart Top Load Laundry Pair, now available at Lowe's. The washer's large capacity means you can fit more in every load. Plus, its super speed setting washes a full load in only 28 minutes. Shop the smart washer that will streamline laundry day, backed by Lowe's Price Promise. Based on using super speed on a normal cycle with an 8-pound load. Terms apply. See Lowe's.com/price promise for details. U.S. only.
Hey, this is BJ. Thanks for listening to our show's podcast. If you're a fan of all things geeky, you should check out my other podcast, BJ Shea's Geek Nation. We have new episodes every day, and you can check it out at bjgeeknation.com.
Your driver's license is important so you can get back and forth to work, get your kids to school, and back and forth to daycare. If your license has been suspended because you can't pay your tickets, you can't do any of those things. Let's talk about Chapter 13 bankruptcy. You may have heard that tickets cannot be discharged, but they can be dealt with in a Chapter 13 case. Why not come in for a free consultation? The chapter you choose will make all the difference to your getting back, legally, on the road. Let's design a plan to pay off your tickets and restore your license immediately. I'm attorney Travis Gagne. Please contact me today at choosetherightchapter.com. That's choosetherightchapter.com.
99.9 KISW, The Rock of Seattle.
BJ, today we are celebrating the life of Eddie Van Halen, and our next guest spent some time living with Eddie. It's an incredible story. Please welcome to the show our good friend, Craig Gass.
Craig, welcome back, buddy.
Hey, buddy, how are you?
Oh, I mean, considering, I really want to be in a celebratory mood. We don't do that enough anymore when we lose people, and I think that was something we used to do. We didn't get so maudlin. We celebrated somebody's great life, especially if they really had an impact and they were fun and they did something amazing. And I want to be that way. As of course, we lost Eddie Van Halen at 65 years old yesterday due to battle with cancer. And you, Craig, we talk about this anyway. You are the Forrest Gump of rock because somehow you're always showing up in these luminaries' lives. And of course, you were in Eddie Van Halen's life and he was in your life. And we thought we would talk to you because obviously this is going to be definitely a tough day for you. But I hope one that you can celebrate as well. The idea that you got to be with somebody who was so amazing like Eddie.
Yeah, I mean, it was a strange thing where this guy who I was a fan of and loved as a fan ended up bringing me into his life and letting me live with him, which is still surreal, those experiences that I had. And the way that it happened was I was at a concert in L.A. one night. It was in 2002, and a guy was introducing me to all these music industry people, and at one point said, "Oh, man, I'm going to introduce you to this guy. Oh, this guy. Okay. He lives with one of the biggest rock stars on the planet, but don't tell him I told you that." And he introduces me, and the guy says he knows me. He's a fan of my work. And I said, "Oh, no way." So we were talking, we hit it off, and we exchanged phone numbers. And I invited him to go bowling a week later. And he said, "Yeah, man, I'm totally down. Hey, is it cool if I bring my friend Ed with me? Because I've been telling him about you, and he's dying to meet you." And I said, "Yeah, I don't care." And he goes, "Okay," because he has a kid, and his kid's 12. So, and I was like, "Dude, it's bowling. Who cares?" And he showed up to the bowling alley with Eddie Van Halen.
Whoa. My friend Ed. That's Ed, and then, of course, the kid's Wolfie. That's just nuts.
And come to find out that this guy, Matty, is Eddie Van Halen's assistant. He lives on the property in a guest house, and he runs the 5150 Studios. And he's such a fan of the show that I was on at the time that he would get up every morning at 5 a.m. and just listen to me on the air for 5 hours a day. And when I started appearing on this radio show, he started telling Eddie, like, "Oh, my God, there's this new guy on the show who does a Sam Kinison impression." And then a week later, "Oh, my God, that same guy does a Paul Stanley impression." And then a week later, the guy does a Lars Ulrich impression, and on and on. So at the bowling alley, Eddie Van Halen is telling me my life story to me. including a story that I told on the air about how I've been broke my whole life. And all I've ever wanted, once I started making money doing stand-up, all I ever wanted to own was an illegal cable box. That's all I've ever wanted, is one of those.
I remember those
illegal
boxes.
Yeah, they unscramble all the channels. And
The adult
Eddie
channels.
Van Halen at the bowling alley, and he's smoking, by the way. You're not supposed to be smoking in the bowling alley. He's talking to me and going, dude, I heard you were broke your whole life. Me too. And you know what's crazy? I heard a story about you, that you always wanted an illegal cable box. He goes, that's crazy, because, and he looked both ways, and he went, I got an illegal cable box too. And I was like, really? Dude, you're Eddie Van Halen. And he goes, yeah. And he goes, the thing is, I'm rich, but don't want to pay for cable. And I was like, are you serious? And then over the course of the next year and a half, I have this bizarre friendship with Maddie and Ed, where I would go over there and I'd hang out specifically at the recording studio, and we would just hang out. And I ended up in a really bad relationship that ended horribly one night. And I called Maddie in a lot of pain. And I said, man, you're not going to believe what happened to me tonight. And I'm telling him, and he said, hold on. Ed wants to talk to you. And Ed got on the phone and said, dude, I told you she was a whore. And I go, yeah, I know. But I mean, and he goes, dude, and you're living with her. Why are you living with her? And I said, she's the only person I know in Los Angeles besides you guys. She's the only person I know. That's why I'm living with her. And he said, dude, pack up your stuff and move in with me. And I said, is that okay? I can stay at your place? He goes, yeah. He goes, dude, you can stay in the recording studio. The only thing is, don't tell anybody, but the band's getting back together, so it's going to be noisy at night. And I was like, okay. So
That is insanity. We're talking to Craig Gass as he is telling us about the time he lived with Eddie Van Halen, and so he has you move into the recording studio.
As you moving to the recording studio, and gave me a heads up that the only thing I needed to worry about was the fact that Van Halen was going to be playing in the next room.
That's the funniest part. Like, hey, sorry, we're going to be loud, but it's Van Halen, so I hope you're okay with that. Like, yeah, I'm going to be awake listening.
That's
insane. And it was weird because I was trying to have a life. I'm trying to live like a normal life as a newly single guy, but I'm living with this super successful, very introverted, and very, he lived a hermit life existence, and he has me on the inside of his life now. And I remember meeting a girl who, at a Metallica concert at the Forum, who texted me at like midnight after the concert and said, hey, do you want me to come over? And I said, yeah. You know what? Okay, let me ask. I said, I'll call you back. And she got really freaked out because she was like, oh, you have a girlfriend. And I said, no, I do not have
something cooler.
Yeah. I said,
yeah.
I live in a very unusual circumstance. Let me ask, and I'll call you back. And I found Ed, and I was like, hey, Ed, I don't know if this is okay, and if it's not, totally fine. But I met this really amazing girl tonight, and she wants to come over, and is it okay to bring somebody? I can keep her up at the studio. And Ed said, dude, get some puss. And I was like, okay, cool. So I call her up and I tell her to meet me at the bottom of Coldwater Canyon. There's a Ralph's right there at Ventura and Coldwater Canyon. I told her to leave her car there. And she's peppering me with questions like, why do you need permission to have me come over to your house? And I said, I just live in a really unusual circumstance. And then I take her through the back gate, because there's two gates to get in, and the back gate was next to the studio. And I opened the door to the 5150 studios. She walks in first. I haven't told her what's going on yet. And when she walks in, she goes, Jesus, is your friend like the biggest Van Halen fan on the planet or what? And
kinda.
She starts to notice stuff on the walls like, how do you get something like that? And I finally had to go, do you hear the noise in the next room? That's Van Halen. This is Van Halen's house, and he's letting me stay here until I get back on my feet. And she went, oh, okay. And to answer your next question that every guy asks, the answer is 2 minutes. It took 2 minutes from that point. So I know that was Vicky. I know that was Vicky responding to that.
What song was playing while that was going on?
Well, unfortunately for my excitement, hopefully it was just a solo because it didn't last long. But
By Eruption.
Oh, nice.
Sorry.
Yeah, it was surreal. He just got out of a relationship at that time in 2004. I had just gotten out of a relationship, so we would commiserate a lot at night and talk about heartache and pain. Wow. And he just talked about his kid. He loved his son so much. And I don't know if you have this available, but there's a song called 316, and it's on the album For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge. Mm-hmm. 316 is an acoustic piece. It's a 90-second acoustic piece, no vocals, that Eddie would play on Valerie Bertinelli's belly when she was pregnant with Wolfie. And whenever Wolfie would kick, Eddie would play the acoustic piece, and it would calm and soothe Wolfie. And I remember when I was, this is early 2004 when I was living there, and Ed told me a story about how Wolfie asked his dad, hey, I want to learn how to play guitar. And Eddie said, okay, well, I'll try to find somebody to teach you. And he's like, I want to learn from you. And he's like, oh, okay. Oh, I didn't know. Okay. Like, he's the greatest guitar player that ever lived. And when his son says, I want to learn how to play guitar, he goes, all right, I'm going to try to find a professional for you. And so he teaches his son how to play guitar, and behind his back, Wolfie starts teaching himself how to play that piece. And Eddie was saying that Wolfie had recently performed on stage for the first time in a talent show at school. And Eddie was so excited and proud. He went to the talent show, brought a video camera, and when it was time for Wolfie to come out, Ed snuck down to the front row and started filming, and his son walks out and says, hi, my name's Wolfie, and I'm going to play a song that my dad used to play on my mom's belly when she was pregnant with me. This is called 316. And he started playing it, and Eddie said tears just rolling down his face. 316, by the way, is Wolfie's birthday.
Man, dude, I mean, the father in me just can really be in that moment when you realize, whoa, and especially for an introverted guy to be able to have that kind of connection with his own kid like that. What a special moment. And as a dad of a
he talked a lot about wanting, I don't know what his problem was with Sammy and Mike. At the time that I was living at the house, they were recording not a full album. They were coming out with a best of album that had 2 bonus tracks. And Eddie had some kind of thing going on with Sammy and Mike that I don't think anybody could really understand where it was coming from. But he would talk about how his son was so gifted that he wanted to tour just with his son and his brother and be what he called the real Van Halen, just 3 Van Halens playing together. And and his son is really talented, but Eddie was also for being an introvert, he was also very warm and protective. Do we have time to tell another story? I know I'm talking a lot here.
Yeah, I just want to let everybody know we're talking to Craig Gass, a good friend of our show, who actually lived with Eddie Van Halen. And so, obviously, because Eddie passed away at 65 yesterday, we're getting some great stories of Craig's time with Eddie.
And I just wanted to play a little clip of 316. I think the Revs got it, just so that people could hear what that song is that you're talking about.
Yes, this is what he played on his wife's belly when she was pregnant with Wolfie.
Oh, it's just pulling up. It's gotta love the internet.
Yeah, the internet's doing what it's doing.
Which is crazy because he writes such a nice song about his kid. The only song I've written about my kid so far is a song called "I Poop My Pants," But I don't know if ever there's going to come a time where she grows up and she's going to do that in a talent show.
She should do that on a talent show.
That would be embarrassing for all parties.
Maybe you could tie it together and say I pooped my pants 316 times.
Which is true.
Yeah, that's it.
Here it is. And that's the song that he would play while he was in Mom's belly.
That's
Yeah.
I mean, I'm telling you right now, man.
That's awesome.
It's getting the father in me. I'm feeling a little emotional because I'm in my mind. I'm seeing him and Valerie together while she's pregnant with him, and then also seeing him watching his kid on stage perform this song that he used to basically lullaby him. I mean, that is. I'm happy that Eddie got to have sweet moments like that because sometimes when you are in the position that a guy like him is in, and like you said, Craig, being introverted, that lifestyle can be a beating. And I'm happy Eddie had some really warm moments like that. That's fantastic.
And Craig, you said you had another story for us, though.
Yeah, that's going to ruin this whole sweet thing now.
Perfect.
Oh, that's all right, though. I mean, life is all about different emotions, buddy.
Well, so I moved into that house because I was getting over this relationship that was just bad with a bad person. And, Alex started showing up at the house. And whenever Alex showed up, it just became like a long day of like storytelling, which I love. I loved hearing a good story. I love telling a good story. And then a certain time would hit where I'd have to leave to go to the Comedy Store to go, work on my material. And Eddie would always follow me out to the car and say, hey, I want to come with you. I want to watch some comedy. And I'd say, Ed, I'm going to an open mic. I'm not showing up at an open mic with Eddie Van Halen. It's going to be very disruptive to do that. Just do me a favor. Please come to my show. I'm doing a show on Valentine's Day. And he said, okay, I'm coming to your show. So he came to my show on Valentine's Day. And I didn't have the heart to tell everybody that I had a moment of weakness. And I called my ex.
Well, the ex-girl that caused you all that grief that had you live with Eddie in the first place?
Yeah, and I invited her to my show. And she's in my dressing room with a video camera, and she's filming birthday wishes from everybody because at midnight on February 15th, it's my birthday. So she's filming all these wishes from everybody, and I'm standing next to her as Eddie Van Halen walks into the room. Eddie has no idea who she is. And she goes, hi, Eddie. Do you want to give a quick birthday wish to Craig on camera? And he goes, yeah. Are you rolling? And she goes, yeah. And he goes, my birthday wish is just for Craig to stay away from that skank whore that ruined his life. And her jaw dropped, and I just kept trying to direct and go, hey, let's keep filming over here. Hey, Skippy, you got a birthday wish? Here, come over here and get on camera. Like, I was just trying to push along like that didn't happen.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Man, that's a true bro right there, man.
That is, and it's funny because she told me sometime later, she's like, I'm never giving you that video, but it exists. That video exists of Ed sticking up for me and saying, you're a skank whore.
She's got to put that video out, especially now. That's a rare, great moment. Come on, she's got to give up the body.
So I wonder what she's thinking today when, obviously the news comes out and you start thinking about whatever. Because when I heard about Eddie Van Halen passing, the first person I thought it was you, Craig, and I sent you a text to see how you were doing. And I got to imagine when she heard the news, the first thing she thought was, that's the guy that called me a skank whore.
Yeah.
Well, you have to... I, unfortunately, have to fill in the blanks here for you and tell you the rest of the story. The reason why I broke off communication with Ed and Maddie for a while, I moved in there to get over the pain of this relationship. And Maddie, who is Ed's assistant, and Eddie both helped me to get through it. But I found out a year later that the entire time I was living there, Maddie was hooking up with her.
What? Oh, man.
Yeah.
This is nuts. That's nuts.
Yeah, and Maddie ended up staying with her. They ended up together for over 5 years. They almost got married.
What?
Wow.
Yeah, so I obviously I was thrown because I would leave Eddie's house to go on the road for a week at a time. And when I would leave, Maddie would have my ex come over. And then when I'd come home, he would look me right in the face and say, "How are you? Are you doing okay, man? Are you holding up all right?"
Wow.
Yeah.
Boy, what a world. What I mean, he does you a solid by having you live with one of the coolest guys ever. And then, of course, he does that. Boy, he's a complicated man, that Maddie.
Yeah, and but Ed, it's weird because, and I hate to say this, but the last conversation I had with Ed was a few years ago, and it just dawned on me that Ed had nothing to do with that horrible thing that happened. So I called up Ed late one night, and he picked up the phone, and he said, "Hello?" And I said, "Hey, Ed, what's going on, buddy?" And he said, "Who is this?" I said, "It's Craig Gass." And he goes, "Hey, Craig, how you doing, buddy?" And I said, "I'm doing good. What are you up to?" And he said, "I'm sitting on the toilet taking a dump." And I was like, "Oh, all right. You want me to call you later?" And he said, "No. Talk to me. I got all the time in the world." And he's smoking a cigarette while he's taking a dump. And I was like,
Eddie.
"No, I'll call you later." And then I hung up the phone. And that, unfortunately, was the last conversation I had with him. I had recently, this past summer, tried calling him, and I couldn't get him on the phone. And I just found out yesterday that apparently he wasn't talking. So his only communication with people was by text. So, but yeah, a very surreal time because I'm a fan, and I ended up in this weird spot of living at his house, and it turned into an amazing story, an amazing set of stories. So. Yeah, I'm grateful for that time.
And make sure you check out Craig's Facebook page.
A lot of these stories are shared there.
Also, getgas.com. I bet you'll find some stuff up there. Gas with 2 S's. Craig, thank you so much for sharing this with us, bro. And much love to you because I mean, I know it's definitely an emotional day for you since you did have that personal connection with Eddie. And we do appreciate you being with us, buddy. We just appreciate you in our lives, man. You're a good dude.
And same to you. Yeah, I've been sharing a lot of stories about Ed as they come back to me on my Facebook page. And but I'm grateful for you guys and grateful that you've always been nice to me. So thank you.
All right, take care, Craig Gass. And again, a big thanks to Craig for joining us, chatting about Eddie, who sadly passed away yesterday after a 10-year battle with cancer. And so we're celebrating the life of Eddie Van Halen pretty much all morning long. And we've got one of his tunes, Running with the Devil, on the Rock.
BJ and Migs, mornings on The Rock, 99.9 KISW.
$20 million, $19 million, $6 million. These are all awards recovered for clients of Phillips Law Firm. To win big, you have to fight big. And Phillips Law has been fighting the too big to fail insurance industry for decades. Not every case will have a multi-million-dollar outcome, but Phillips Law will fight just as hard to recover the outcome you deserve. If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident or on the job, call or click today at 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
Spend less time in the laundry room and more time doing the things you love. Introducing the Samsung Smart Top Load Laundry Pair, now available at Lowe's. The washer's large capacity means you can fit more in every load. Plus, its super speed setting washes a full load in only 28 minutes. Shop the smart washer that will streamline laundry day, backed by Lowe's Price Promise. Based on using super speed on a normal cycle with an 8-pound load. Terms apply. See Lowe's.com/price promise for details. U.S. only.
99.9 KISW, the Rock of Seattle. Match.com just released the results of a new survey about how single people have been handling their getting it on needs during the quarantine.
Okay.
Yeah. Getting it on. How about this? 24% of them say, yeah, I have a non-romantic roommate and I've had sex with them.
Yeah, I could kind of see that happening. You're stuck, and that's the only person you can be around. And
see, I'm right. You know what? I'm glad to be proven right because I said long ago that if you stay in a situation with a so-called platonic person long enough, you're going to bang them. If in fact you are a heterosexual, they're a heterosexual. If you're attracted to them in any way, just by the basic nature of how you identify and your orientation, it's going to happen.
I feel
I
though.
don't think 100% is going to happen.
Well, 24% anyway.
Oh, then yeah, you're.
I'm right.
Nailed it.
I'm right. 24% right.
24% of the time, you're 100% right.
That's right, buddy.
During a pandemic.
During a pandemic.
Right. All of this is proving your point.
Because you're trying to stay safe out there. You're not trying to get COVID. So you have your bubble of people. So you run out of batteries at some point. What's the next best thing?
See, that's what I'm trying.
It's not that you're attracted to them necessarily. It's like, you'll do.
You're the best that can happen. Now we're playing a fun game, COVID or chlamydia.
Exactly.
It's called being a human being, and I understand it, which is why I never put myself in that situation.
24% of the time.
24% of the time, I know I'm going to be that way.
I wonder what was that moment, though. I'd love to talk to the 24%. Like, how many weeks were you in on this, and what was that breaking point? You know what I mean? There had to be a moment, like, while they were hanging out, where you're like, do you want to just bang? Because I don't know when this is going to happen for either one of us.
Well, Vicky said it was the battery issue, so that might be it.
Yeah.
Well, I've been watching the TikToks.
Netflix, you're out of shows on Netflix.
Yeah.
Right. There's this challenge that a lot of people are doing. It's like, I'm kissing my best guy or girlfriend, like, out of the blue.
What?
Yeah, and then some people are like, get out of here, and other people, respond positively, and then they start dating. So I'm guessing a lot of that was from the Gen Zers.
How romantic. How did you guys meet? It was a TikTok challenge that we met, and that's how we decided to become romantic.
Yes.
See, I think they always had something for the person. They're just using something to be able to be courageous enough to initiate the first move.
Well, I mean, that's part of it too. I think in order to get the sex going, you don't want to be like, let's have sex, because then it gets awkward if it's your roommate. But if you say that, no, it was a TikTok challenge, it wasn't me. If they respond negatively.
Ah,
oh, yeah, there it is. Kissing my best friend TikTok challenge, or kissing my roommate TikTok challenge. The whisper challenge.
See, it's so weird for me because that has changed generationally. I don't remember any dudes who were heterosexual with heterosexual women as their best friend. I don't remember anybody. There was always my buddies and me. I never had there were girls I knew, but it's changed. Now here we are 100 years later, whenever I was
would say, yeah, there was plenty of like guys. I mean, maybe not as much now. I have no idea. I don't hang out with anyone anymore. It's just me at home with my lovely wife, our baby, and our dog.
That's right. You know what? You're Mr. Social.
But I mean, I feel like in my college days, we had plenty of female friends. It wasn't like that big.
Did you
of a
say
deal.
Best friends though?
Well, see, I'm a weirdo when it comes to best friend. If I use the criteria that Danny uses for best friend, yes. But for me, it's like there's only one best friend.
Exactly. I agree with you.
And it could have been that there was a time in college that there was one female I hung out with all the time. We never did anything. And that, I don't know, had something to do with me having no abilities to make anything happen. So
so you kind of wanted it, but you just couldn't do it.
Well, I'd want to do anything at that point. Like, I mean,
here's a pie, sir.
Right. Like the washing machine looks sexy some nights.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I never, it's funny. Now, look, I can't speak for my entire generation, but I can speak anecdotally. We did not have that. Mm-hmm. It was just not a thing to do. We didn't hang out with. You know why? I mean, your manhood was questioned back when I grew up, and Brene Brown writes about this. How that being a man growing up in the 60s and 70s was tough because your masculinity and you having even a man card was brought into play if you didn't act like a man, and hanging out with women was kind of a violation of that man card in my generation.
I feel like a woman in your generation too. Like if you wanted to be friends with a dude, you'd immediately get a reputation.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, yeah, that's what you do? You hang out with guys? What else are you doing with those guys? And then boom, reputation tarnished, you never get married.
Good point. Yeah.
Now you're alone with a bunch of cats.
Yeah.
It's all because you grew up in BJ's prehistoric days.
I know, man. It's crazy to think like in 50 years how things have changed, and you say you experience what you experienced, mm-hmm. and then Vicky's generation and the Z's are doing the TikTok best friend challenge.
Yeah.
Which is just nuts to me. We never would have done that in my time. And back in my day, we wouldn't even talk to them women.
Well, TikTok.
Well, TikTok.
You didn't have that back then.
No, we didn't have anything. We had the clock. We listened to that TikTok.
Oh,
that's about all we had. Yeah.
Really?
How about this though? Vicky, survey found out that 16% of single people say that they've actually been having moments with themselves more so during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Okay, well, there we go. I was going to ask how that affected, but we now got the answer.
Well, I also have my parents. They're officially moved in with me right now as they try to sell their house.
Whoa,
so I try to get a lot of it out of the way before they moved in.
Oh, right. Yeah, just kind of...
Yeah, just like I don't want to have to deal with it.
Do yourself dry.
Sure.
Wow,
that
like
was-
the well is dry. Not
Yes.
like
No, you can't say. You
I
can't
can
just-
say it.
No, you really.
I was
can't.
tracking, Steve.
I know what you know. Lee, tracking
we were-
nothing.
yeah,
you
we were
can't.
all tracking.
I wouldn't say it to like Alice at church, but I could say it to Vicky. She knows what I mean.
He doesn't mean it bad.
No, he doesn't mean it bad, but it's still not the right.
Can
Don't
you please
encourage
say
him to
it
use
to
that
Alice
again.
at church?
Yeah,
Alice in church would not be okay with that.
I don't
But-
think. Don't use that word.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a not good.
The pool is dry, not the well.
No, you don't want to say dry at all to a woman.
Oh.
Yeah, you don't really want
My
to.
bad.
Yeah, I spend a lot of money to keep my skin moisturized
Yeah.
and not dry, Steve.
I get what you're saying now.
You've been
BJ.
married for how long?
long enough.
Okay, good.
It's coming up on 10 glorious
Yeah,
years.
there's just certain things you should know that are not like.
All right, well, fix that
Yeah.
in post, Joe.
Yeah,
My bad.
Yeah, you don't want. That's right. Okay. Well, anyway, yeah. So are you saying that you're pretty much not going to do that kind of stuff now because you got the whole family, you got your brother, your mother living in your house, which
and
is
my foster
smaller.
brother.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's
So if you're
five beings,
And he loves being with me, so he's like clawing at my door trying to get me to let him. Like, no.
and your house is smaller than the house you grew
Yes.
up in. Oh man.
Yo, if your parents do anything that upsets you, you should ground them.
Oh my God, I'm so excited.
It's your house, your rules.
like,
Vicky, do you think they'll do anything with each other in your house?
I hope
no.
so.
What do you mean no? How do you know? I mean, I'm their age. So I can tell you that we still want
It's
to.
not because of that. It's just like I know my parents.
Are you sure you
I'm
know
not
them?
gonna okay, there's a lot of stuff
Have
I'll
you-
talk about myself on the radio. I'm not going to divulge family
fair.
things.
Yeah, but I mean, okay, but you're saying for sure they won't do that because you wouldn't know if my wife and I were in your house if we would, right? You wouldn't know if we decided, hey,
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
But I know for a fact that they will not.
Oh, see, I would. I would
Just
just
remove all the doors?
Yes.
That, you should do that. Like, look, you guys, if you're going to be in the bedroom together, the door stays open.
It's like, come on. Just
Wouldn't
like
you
when I was a
see,
teenager.
I would do it as a get back. All the times you were Vicky, being Vicky, growing up in their house, I would be such a rotten. Like I'd do everything I could to do everything that
Hey.
you put me through.
What's going on under that blanket? No blankets. Ah.
Exactly. That's exactly what I would do. Even if your parents said, we don't really care about doing it, I would be, you know what, tonight, to piss off Vicky, we're doing it.
Because that's exactly how her parents are living their life.
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's what I would do. I'd be like, okay.
So how long
great.
are they in your house for now?
So they're in the process of putting their house on the market. So I think it's happening this week.
Uh-huh.
So however long it takes to sell and close and then buy a new one.
Well, based
So-
on my experience, it's a very easy process. So they'll be in and out any day now.
Oh, it's much easier than parking a car at Target.
Yes.
I'm expecting 3 months.
Yes.
You heard that, Rockaholics. For just a low price of whatever, you can own a house that Vicky Barcelona lived in.
Yes.
Actually, it's Lake Stephen, so it's not a low
3
price.
months as we're about to go into the you can't go outside season.
Oh,
And,
I'm kind of excited in a weird way. Because it's the holidays, so I was going to be over there anyways.
It's festive and you don't have to go anywhere.
all right, yeah, you do.
My
yeah.
mom's already said tamales all around for Christmas. Oh, I'm
That's
so
right.
excited.
about-
It's the Christmas treat.
What about your buddies at your work?
Can we move in?
I mean, you guys can sleep in the garage.
I just want you to bring some in. I don't want to even waste.
Yeah,
your
that's
guys'
what
time.
I
I don't want to waste
getting
any
at.
space.
All of a sudden, Vicky's like, "What do you think? I'm Craig Gass? I'm not going to move into your garage."
Grab a cooler, throw it in a bunch in there, and come January we get to enjoy some tamales.
All right, I'll see what I can do.
Nice.
My mom says there's no Christmas presents this year. It's like, we're moving, we're not buying anything, but I'm going to make you guys tamales. I'm like, okay.
That sounds like the ultimate Christmas.
I wish
gift.
I could do that. I wish I could just come up with a reason not to buy my kids presents, but I can't. Joey just gave us his laundry list too, so I mean, it would have been great just to go. No, I'm not doing anything.
I mean, you can. I think it's very easy.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, but you don't understand. I mean, Joey has been laundry listing us for years. I mean, and then he comes out with stuff too. It's just like he's like, "Woo, it's a party," and there it is.
It's really simple, though.
Yeah.
I was stoked on my wife's situation because she doesn't work right now, obviously at home with our baby. And so when my birthday came and went, she was just like, I went to Target to get you a Kraken shirt that you pointed out. It didn't have your size. So just buy yourself a Kraken shirt whenever you want. I'm like, yeah, exactly. I'm the one that's paying for it. So I don't care.
But do you guys find it seems kind of like a trick? My mom's like, we're not doing presents this year, so don't
Have
buy
something
us
on
anything.
have
Oh
something.
yeah, you got to have something.
Get something that fits within like the 30-day return policy. So that way, if no gifts are had, you can just bring it back.
I don't know if anyone's ever told you this, Steve, but you're brilliant.
I know. Thank you.
No one's ever told him that. You don't have to question
This
whether-
morning.
Yeah,
Until
Vicky,
now.
And Vicky, do not lie to Steve like this. That's not right.
That's his Christmas present from me.
Oh yeah.
No, I want a tamale. I'd rather you call me stupid
All right.
and I get a tamale.
Okay, stupid tamale. We got it. Yesterday, ST, he got this one right.
What year did Neil Armstrong become the first person to walk on the moon?
1969.
Yes.
You knew I was going to say that, didn't you?
Yes.
The timbre of my voice.
Yeah, that was just a gimme. Just because Rev wanted to hear you say.
Sometimes they are.
Yeah. All right. You want a shot at beating Steve? Let's hope there's no 69 answers in there. 206-421-ROCK. We're going to play Beat Migs at 847 on The Rock.
Today's podcast was brought to you by Travis Gagne, bankruptcy attorney. Here's another question from a listener. How long is a bankruptcy going to affect my credit rating?
Of course, most of the time, by the time we're talking about filing a bankruptcy, the credit has already taken a huge hit. Chapter 7 is going to affect it more negatively than Chapter 13. Chapter 7 stays on your credit report for 10 years from the time you file. It usually takes 7 or 8 years for your credit scores to get back into the normal range in a Chapter 7 case. However, your credit will start to recover even in Chapter 7 after about a year. You'll be able to get credit again right away, usually before your case is even over. Chapter 13 stays on your credit report for 7 years and usually takes about 3.5 years for your credit to get back in the normal range. So Chapter 13 will mean your credit gets better much more rapidly.
Thanks, Travis. If you have more questions about bankruptcy, you can reach out to Travis anytime at choosetherightchapter.com. That's choosetherightchapter.com. Thanks for listening.
$20 million, $19 million, $6 million. These are all awards recovered for clients of Phillips Law Firm. To win big, you have to fight big. And Phillips Law has been fighting the too big to fail insurance industry for decades. Not every case will have a multi-million-dollar outcome, but Phillips Law will fight just as hard to recover the outcome you deserve. If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident or on the job, call or click today at 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.